pine or just any kind of a pine?
It was the white pine.
The white pine.
It rose in the time.
Yeah, did she scrape the inside of it out, or did she just boil the bark and everything?
Oh. And let's see now. It's been so long I can't remember.
How about a rash? If a baby got a rash, like a diaper rash or anything like that, the thrust, what was that?
She'd take this cornstarch and brown it, and you'd rub that on it.
On the baby?
Or take soda water and wash it in it, and it would stop it.
Is that right? Soda water.
And for bleeding, she'd if she got cut or anything bad, she would take soda and put in that cut, and that would stop it from bleeding.
It would?
Yeah, I saved my boy from bleeding to death. He stuck one of these old tobacco spreaders in his arm right along there, and it was bleeding. Oh, it was just spurting up. And I got him out the sink, and he's bleeding so he got weak, and he's over in the meadow over there cutting tobacco and spreaded his arm. And when I got here, I couldn't run because on account of my heart. And the time I got here, why, he was just bleeding, just spurting, spinning right straight up.
Oh, boy.
And I run and grabbed the soda box and poured it on his arm, and that stopped that bleeding, and I grabbed a white dish towel, rolled it around his arm, told Lee to get the car and let's go. Took him to the doctor, and it took, I don't know how many stitches to sew it up. And the doctor said to him up here at Jefferson, what's that on your arm? He said, Mom stopped it from bleeding. He said, I bled to death. I guess if it hadn't been Mom was quick enough, thought he'd said she grabbed the soda box and poured it on me.
What'd he say?
He said, well, she done the right thing. He said that drove them little nerves and veins together and stopped the bleeding.
Sealed it, didn't it? I didn't know that.
Well, that's the best thing ever was.
I didn't know that.
And
there's so many things, first aid and stuff like that. You people know that we just depend on the doctor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for...
How about for swelling or something like that? What did they do?
Well, she put vinegar and salt together and hold your hand arm or whatever.
Vinegar and salt.
Yeah, and that'd stop that swelling.
Yes.
Draw it out. And then she would... there's just lots of things that... and she'd take this mullein and boil it and make tea for coughs.
Oh, it looks like it's the fuzz on the leaf. Is that the mullein? Well, there's plenty of it now.
Yeah, and she'd take peach tree bark if you was a vomiting, and you wanted to. You have to peel your peach tree down. Don't peel it up. Peel it downward, that bark, and boil it and give it to them, and it'll
stop the vomiting.
Stop the vomiting. Or take blackberry juice where you're sick at your stomach and a vomiting. That'll stop it quick as anything.
How about for the flux or the diarrhea that, the years ago this flux I think was a bad thing for babies?
Well, she'd take milk of this nutmeg, and she'd shave it up and make a tea out of it and give it to you.
Now, nutmeg. And what's that? You mean the nutmeg you have
you put in pumpkin pie?
Yeah, and she made a tea out of the bark?
Out of the nutmeg, she'd shave it up fine and boil it. Or this powdered nutmeg you get, you can eat that.
Is that what she cured them?
I had the...
Well, no wonder she's on the road all the time. She knew how to handle everything, didn't she?
And so I had it so bad here that I didn't have a bathroom then, and I sat over the toilet roll from 12 o'clock till the next morning, And there's an old woman here, Miss Hall, Florence Hall. No, Miss Osmond, Mary Osmond. And she told me to go to eating that nutmeg. And I did, and it just stopped at no time.
Well, that was a very real thing in those days. A lot of people died from it, didn't
Oh,
they?
yeah.
Very dangerous. Well, we're so used to doctors and switching on the light and calling a telephone and that sort of thing.
Well, there's lots of. I doctored all my young ones myself.
Well,
And
you
Miss Graham, I had a neighbor, and her daughter had a baby, and she come down here and wanted me to go with her to get some red-stemmed ivy. I said, "My God, woman, what do you want with that?" And she said, Jenny's baby, she says, is something that was my grandma. She says, my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that Ma used to get it and give it to the young ones. She says, I've seen her. I said, she never give them no red-stemmed ivy. I said, she give them ground ivy, like runs on the ground and on blooms.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
For the hives.
Oh.
And I said, I'll get you some of that right out here in the yard. But I said, going with you out there and getting red-stemmed ivy, I ain't. I said, I ain't a committing murder.
I'd kill her.
And my mother had 12 young ones, and she raised us. Well, there's 2 of them died at birth. And so she never killed us, and I know what she did.
Now that was the ground that runs on the ground.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
And you boil that and just give them the tea out of it, sweeten it a little, and just give them looks like water, give it to them, and it'll stop them hives. Where they break out, you know.
Yeah. Did you ever hear of anybody poisoning their children by the home remedies?
No, I never did know of anyone that did, but she would.
Yeah, but good thing she stopped and got you, wasn't it? I just wondered if you ever knew of anybody poisoning their children.
No, I never did know of anyone, but... And this, spicewood grows in the up. It
smells so good.
Mm-hmm. And take that and add it Jefferson, the leaves of it. And I'd help the grandchildren gather. We'd take it to town by sackfuls, dry it, and that's what they make lots of the medicine out of.
And did you drink it for what?
It's the best thing ever was for bedwetting.
Is it?
Yes, sir. Get it and boil it and
make tea.
Let them just put it in the refrigerator. Strain it after you boil that bark, and just put it in the refrigerator and let them drink that instead of drinking water.
Oh.
And it'll stop them from bedwetting.
Well, for goodness sake.
I know a boy that he was court and grown. I guess he was anywhere 20 to 22. And he wet the bed every night and had ever since he was born. And I told him one day, I said, if you get that bark and boil it, and then strain it through a white cloth, I said, and put it in the refrigerator and drink that, you'll quit bedwetting. They wouldn't have him in service, so that was when they were taking him in service. And so he done it, and he quit his bedwetting and went and pulled a term in the Army.
Is that right?
Well, that's the best thing there was. And I had a nephew, his wife, I told her to get that, and so me and my sister and her went and got some, and she gave it to her little girl, and it stopped her from bedwetting.
Well, when a person had heart dropsy or something like that, what did they do in those days? You mentioned you had to have a heart condition. Now, what did they do for heart trouble in those days?
Well, I don't know what they done back then for that. I don't know whether they know anything about that. back then.
They just knew something was wrong, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Well, how about, was there much cancer in those days? Did you hear a lot of people?
No, there wasn't no cancer like there is now. I believe what's causing that cancer is so much of our meal and flour, self-rising dope put in it, it's causing a lot of that.
Preservatives and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe just if you just take that one thing with preservatives in it, it might not bother you, but everything has preservatives in
Yeah.
it.
So
And
much.
maybe we're getting more preservatives than
And
we are
back
food.
then, you know, back when I was growing up, they'd pick their blackberries. They would dry them.
Dry their blackberries.
Yeah, they'd dry their sweet potatoes, slice them up and put them out in the sun, dry them like you dried fruit. And,
Did they dry plums? Plums and peaches.
well, I guess you could. They did back then. Slice them and dry them, but it'd cause a lot of bees to be around, you know. They'd put them out and dry them. And dry pumpkin, cut in rings and hang it up and dry it. And back then, when I was growing up, that's been 78 years ago. And times has changed, our baby.
Well, they have. They certainly have. We need our medical profession, but, you know, I imagine if we could take care of some of our first aid and our home remedies, the doctors would be mighty pleased. I think they're about worked to death.
Yeah, they are.
We've got good doctors in
You
the
hardly ever had to go to a doctor.
and I guess they'd be happy if we could.
And for pneumonia fever, they get this bone set.
Bone set. Now, I wondered what they got.
And it grows up and white bloom on it.
Yeah, now
And
my
more-
mother used to, has depended on bone set for something. I didn't know what it was.
It's for pneumonia, and so it'll stop pneumonia right now and bring that fever down.
Well, that's fantastic.
And for anyone that has a cough, and an old hacking cough, why, they'd take this rock candy,
Yeah,
put it in whiskey, and drink that, and it'd stop it.
is that right?
Where you have this bronchitis, you know, it just holds right on in his cough. It finally turns into consumption, the old slow kind.
Mm-hmm.
They put rock candy and whiskey and use that for it.
Well, I'm sure glad you remembered all these things. I just,
And so there's lots of stuff.
it was handed down from your mother to you, and
Yeah.
from her mother to her.
Uh-huh.
And these,
And for worms, they get this worm seed. It grows up, it's the stinkiest stuff ever was.
is that vermifuge
Yeah, worm infused.
worm seed?
Yeah.
Does it
And
grow
it-
wild?
Yeah, no.
You ordered the seed.
Yeah, no, it grows wild.
Mhm.
Because Moma'd get out and get it. And she'd put it in molasses and stir it up and make us eat it.
Oh, wow.
Lord, that's the nicest stuff ever was.
You couldn't hardly taste that a bit.
No, you could taste it just for 2 or 3 days.
What did you how did you know how much to give?
Well, they know they'd give it to you.
Give probably just a spoonful or two till they
Yeah.
knew what would work on one might not work on the other.
And so, and for bed sores, the best thing ever was for a bed sore where someone lays in the bed
Mm-hmm.
is to take this cornstarch
Mm-hmm.
and parch it. Never put salve or any kind of liquid stuff on it. And just parch that and keep it dry. And it'll heal it right now.
Is that? Well, I'll be glad. I didn't know that.
Well, that's certainly the truth.
Well,
Now for Albert Ball's wife, she had to lay in the bed up here, and she wanted me, in preference of her young'uns, to come and wait on her. And my little boy was just walking and was weaned.